Namaskaram. Shri Mahaganapatiye Namah. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Welcome to today's humble samarpanam on Mayilpeeli. Today we shall chant, learn and understand the slokas of Narayaneeyam Dasakam 52. Let us first chant the sloka and then understand the meaning. Dasakam 52 details the destruction of the pride of Brahma by Shri Krishna. Lord Brahma wanted to test Krishna's power and hid all the calves and gopa boys who were with Krishna. Then Krishna himself took the forms of each individual calf and gopa boy and all the paraphernalia that they had for almost 1 year, because Brahma had hid the gopas and the calves for 1 whole year. Brahma then realized the power of Krishna and he came begging to be pardoned. Dasakam 52, Sloka 1. Anyavatar nishkareshvanirikshitam te bhumatirekamabhivikshitadhagamokshi brahma parikshitu manasa paroksha bhavam nityetavatsaka ghanan pravitasya mayam. O Lord, witnessing the indisputable power of your glory during the liberation of the demon Aghasura, hitherto not seen in any of your other incarnations, Brahma, with his mind determined to test you, used his power of delusion or Maya and caused the calf herds to disappear from view, is what Patadri says. In all the other incarnations of Krishna, majesties as seen in the salvation of Aghasura was not seen. Brahma decided to test Krishna's powers and he extended his power of Maya or the illusion and took the herds of calves into invisibleness and hid them, is what we understand here. Dasakam 52, Sloka 2. Vatsanavīksha vivashe pashupotkaretan anetu kama ivadatrumatanuvarti tvam sami bhukta kavalo gatavam stadanim bhuktam stirodita saroja bhavak kumaran. O Lord, on seeing the agitation of the cowherd children at the disappearance of the calves, you left your meal unfinished and went in search of the calves, as if to comply with Brahma's purpose. Brahma used this opportunity to hide the cowherd children also, who were in the midst of their meal, by using the same power of Maya, is what Bhattadri says. When the Gopa boys were worried by the disappearance of the calves, as though trying to bring them back, you went away from there with a half-eaten bowl of rice in hand. In reality, you made it convenient for Brahma to carry out his intention, who then made the boys also disappear while they were eating food. Dasakam 52, Sloka 3. Vatsayitastadanugopaganayitastvam shikyadhibandamurali gavaladirupaha pragvadvihritya vipineshu chiraya sayam tvam mayayata bahuda vrajamayayata. O Lord, in order to deal with this tricky situation, you assumed the forms of all the calf herds, the various cowherd children, and even that of inanimate objects like the utensils, curd pots and pans, the flute, horn, etc., and as before frolicked and played in the forest the whole day and returned to the village in the evening, is what Bhattadri says. When Krishna saw that all the calves and cowherd boys were gone with all their paraphernalia, he with his own Maya assumed the form of the calves and the boys, adorned with slings, vessels, flutes, horns, etc., and played around in the woods for long. In the evening, in those many forms, Krishna returned to Gokula, Vrindavana, is what we understand here. Dasakam 52, Sloka 4. Tvameva shikshya gavaladimayam dadanaha bhuyastvameva pashuvatsakabalarupaha gorupini birapi gopavadu mayibhihi asaditosi janani birati praharshad. O Lord, you who were in the form of calves and cowherd lads carried your own self in the forms of the various pots, pans, horn, etc., and were welcomed in great delight by the mothers of the cowherd boys and the mother cows of the calves in these manifold forms, says Bhattadri. How very fortunate was the entire village of Vrindavana to have so many forms of Krishna. He was in the form of calves, gopa children, pots, pans, horn, and was present in each and every household in Vrindavan. Dasakam 52, Sloka 5. Jivam hi kanchitabhimanavashat swakiyam matva tanuja iti ragabharam vahantyah atmanameva tu bhavantamavapya sunum Pritim yayurnakiyatim manitasha gavaha. O Lord, it is not at all surprising that these women and cows were filled with ecstasy on seeing these forms of you. Any human being who begets a certain soul as his own child shows unlimited affection towards that child, owing to his egoistic pride. Then how much more joy and pride these women and cows would not have felt in acquiring the supreme soul as their own son or calf. The gopikas and cows were greatly attached to the jivas born as their issues because of the sense of I-ness and mindness. This is a very universal notion. By getting Krishna as their offspring, sons and calves, what extreme happiness and thrill of joy did they not get is what Bhattadri asks the Lord here. Dashakam 52, Sloka 6. Evam pratikshana vrijambita harsha bhara nishesha gopagana lalita bhuri murtim tvamagrajopi bubude kila vatsarante brahmatmanorapi mahan yuvayor visheshaha. O Lord, with their rapture growing every moment, the cowherd clan caressed and pampered you in these manifold forms for a whole year, and even your brother Balarama was unable to detect the secret and he could do it only after 1 year. Undoubtedly, though both of you are manifestations of the Supreme Soul, there is a very great difference between you and him. Day by day, every moment, the Gopas served Krishna in his many forms with the ever-increasing joy. Even Balaram, the elder brother of Krishna, could not realize that it was Krishna in the various forms till the end of 1 year. Such is the good fortune of the people of Vrindavana. Dashakam 52, Sloka 7. Varshavadau navapuratanavatsapalan Drishtva vivekamasrune druhine vibude Pradidrushah pratinavan makutangadadi Bhusham chaturbhujayujas sajalam budamam. O Lord, at the close of 1 year, Brahma was extremely perplexed to see the two sets of old and new calves and cowherd boys, more so as he could not tell the difference between the two sets. You, wishing to dispel his confusion, showed to him each and every one of your new forms adorned with crown, shoulder ornaments, etc., and having 4 arms and the radiance of the rain-bearing clouds, is what Bhattadri says. Dashakam 52, Sloka 8. Pratyekameva kamala parilalitangan Bhogindra bhogashayanan nayanabhiraman Leela nimilita drushassanakadi yogi Vyase vitan kamala bhurбhavato dadarsha. O Lord, further, Brahma had a vision of every one of these forms of you being fondled and waited upon by goddess Lakshmi, every one of them reclining on the bed of the serpent Adishesha, each form with eyes shut in the trance of yogic sleep, each form being worshipped by the sages Sanaka and others. Seeing all these charming poses, Brahma was convinced of your identity is what Bhattadri says. What we understand here is that the lotus-born Brahma saw each one of them as Krishna alone, as him whose limbs were caressed by goddess Lakshmi, who was reclining on Adisesha's hoods, a delightful sight to the eyes, and his eyes were sportingly closed as though in yogic nidra. The Sanaka and other sages were attending on him. Such a divine sight this was. Dasakam 52, Sloka 9. Narayana Sankhyatamam nirikshya sarvatra sevakamapi swamavekshya data maya nimagna hridayo vimumohayavad eko bhabuvita tada kavalardhapanihi. O Lord, overwhelmed by seeing these countless forms of Narayana and himself as an attendant of all these forms, Brahma was drowned in Maya. In order to dispel his delusion, you revealed your form of a year ago, standing alone with a half-eaten morsel of food in your hand, with all the calves, the cowherd boys and all the paraphernalia gone. As if to remind Brahma that he had taken away the calves and the cowherd children from Krishna a year ago, he reveals his form of holding half-eaten bowl of rice and standing alone in the woods is what we understand here. Dashakam 52, Sloka 10. Nashyan made tadanu vishwapati muhustvam natva chanutavati dataridhamayate potai samam pramuditai pravishan niketam vatalayadi pavibo paripahi rogat. O Lord, then Brahma, with his pride destroyed and humbled, bowed down to you repeatedly and singing your praises heartily left for his abode the Satyaloka. You came back to Vrindavana with all the calves and cowherd lads who were most happy. Thus the Lord destroys the pride of Brahma who intended to test his power. Bhattadri in this sloka prays, O Guruvayurappa, may you save me from all my illnesses. Hare Krishna. Govinda Nama Sankirtanam. Govinda Govinda. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Shri Haraye Namaha. Shri Maha Periyava Sharanam.